My boss said, "You're fired. We've brought in someone top tier." This hit hard, especially since I'd always worked my tail off. I just smiled and said, "Awesome." He smirked like I didn't matter. But the next day, when he walked into the office, not a single employee was left. I've been working diligently for 20 years. One day, out of the blue, I received a notice of termination. Despite my dedication to the company, the notice read, "Congratulations, Mark. You've been selected for workforce reduction. We've hired a top-notch new recruit, so you're being let go. Thanks for your hard work." I stood speechless at the sudden declaration from my manager, Evan. "It's unfortunate, but that's reality. You should regret your foolishness for opposing me," he said smugly. "That's good," I replied firmly. He was taken aback by my response and stopped speaking, but soon regained his composure and flashed a nasty grin. "No matter how tough you talk, you're still fired. Pack your things and leave," he said, walking away laughing loudly. However, he truly understood the meaning of my words the next day. "My name is Mark Davis. I've been working at Carson Manufacturing, which produces industrial machinery, for 20 years. Before I knew it, I had turned 43, focusing solely on my work and tirelessly contributing to the company. Even though I've been around for a long time, I'm still a regular employee without any title or position. That's because I love tinkering with machines more than anything and always wanted to stay on the production floor. There were several opportunities for promotion, but I always explained my situation and had the promotion deferred. For me, having the freedom to create machines was more important than the salary. However, such happy days came to an abrupt end yesterday when, despite my 20 years of dedicated service, I was suddenly handed a termination notice. Looking back, even becoming my supervisor was the direct cause of my troubles. All my previous supervisors were hardworking and respectable mentors. They covered for my mistakes and collaborated with other departments to solve problems. This culture of teamwork allowed Carson Manufacturing to gain a certain level of trust in the industry despite being a small company. But everything changed when the CEO was replaced, and his nephew, Evan, was transferred here. "I won't tolerate the lax atmosphere of this workplace anymore. From now on, every employee must give their all to achieve results," Evan declared abruptly during his first address. At first, we employees were confused but tried to adapt to his demands. Needless to say, everyone at the factory was already passionate about machine manufacturing and was doing their best without being told. However, Evan, without understanding the ground reality, kept demanding higher sales without providing any concrete instructions. We were constantly reprimanded, and I finally decided to speak directly to him. "Even everyone is doing their best every day. But if you ask us to improve our performance without specific directions, we don't understand how," I said. "If you guys working on the ground don't understand, how should I?" "Mr. Carson boasted that you're excellent employees. If you're so talented, you should figure it out without my instructions," he retorted. No matter how hard I tried to communicate, he was always like this, making conversation impossible. Through persistent discussions, I realized that he was completely inexperienced. It seemed Mr. Carson had called his nephew, who had been drifting from job to job in various industries, to give him a position out of pity. I gave up expecting concrete instructions from Evan, but he held a grudge against me for embarrassing him in meetings and resented me persistently. "I heard you're in your 40s, Mark. In other companies, you'd be considered a mid-level employee. Why are you still a regular employee here?" he once sneered. "I enjoy working on the production floor and wish to continue here until the end," I replied calmly. "No need for such excuses. In other words, you're incompetent." "We don't need incompetent employees here, but do your best to work hard," he said sarcastically. Whenever we crossed paths, he would make snide remarks. His sarcasm extended beyond me to Emily, my right-hand woman, who was in her 30s with exceptional skills. Even mocked her too. "This company has generous benefits. Mark even has a babysitter assigned to him," he said, comparing me and Emily while laughing. Despite his provocations, Emily's positivity kept me going. "I know how capable you are. No matter what anyone says, we just need to prove ourselves through our work," she said, her smile lifting my spirits. However, Evan's behavior worsened. He shirked his responsibilities, pushed tasks onto subordinates, and rejected employee leave requests with unreasonable excuses. Realizing this was unsustainable, we directly complained to Mr. Carson. But instead of reprimanding Evan, the CEO scolded me. "You've been with this company for 20 years, haven't you? It's your role to support Evan, yet you complain without making any effort. From now on, devote yourself more to assisting him," he said. Hearing this from the CEO disillusioned me completely. Evan's harassment escalated. One day, the prototype machine I had been developing for 5 years, named Fabs, was found destroyed. Designed to handle large and heavy parts accurately, Fabs was a groundbreaking creation. However, the prototype had been forcibly toppled and severely damaged. Evan appeared and sneered, "Oh, is that the toy you were making, Mark? Sorry. I bumped into it, and it fell over. Isn't it good that we found out its weakness before it was commercialized? You should be thanking me." Though I knew it was his doing, I had no proof. Swallowing my frustration, I repaired the prototype and ensured the room was locked from then on. But Evan's harassment continued. He shredded my documents, piled excessive paperwork on me, and deleted data without permission. Despite all this, I persevered. Revised text with proper punctuation and paragraphs. I stated the company because I had a strong resolve not to leave until Fabs was officially launched. I believed that once Fabs was released, it could bring about a small revolution in the manufacturing industry, which was suffering from a labor shortage. Holding on to this belief, I endured Evan's daily provocations and immersed myself in product development. In the midst of these trying days, a turning point finally arrived. One day, an envelope was delivered to my desk. It was an invitation to the world's largest technology and manufacturing exhibition. This exhibition was a platform to showcase the latest manufacturing and implementation technologies in electronics, attracting related industries from both domestic and international companies, such as electronics, semiconductors, and automotive parts manufacturers. I had applied to present Faves, which I had been developing for 5 years at this event. Now everyone will see how amazing Faves is, I thought. I prepared day and night for the exhibition, fine-tuning Faves and getting ready for the presentation. On the day of the exhibition, the venue was filled with industry experts and media representatives. Finally, it was time to present Faves. As the presentation time approached, I felt a thrilling excitement like never before. But just 5 minutes before the start, I was suddenly called out by the event organizers. "Mark, we're sorry, but Evan will be presenting instead of you." "What, Evan?" I was bewildered. While I was trying to process this, Evan walked past me with my presentation materials and took the stage. He then began presenting the content I was supposed to deliver with a self-satisfied look on his face. "What is going on? I prepared everything. The demo files for Fabs, the PR videos, everything was made by me." Next to me, Emily was also trembling at the sight before us. "This is terrible. I can't believe it. He has stolen all of your work, Mark." "Fabs is my creation," I said, struggling to contain my anger. "I built it from scratch and finally brought it to completion." After the presentation, Evan, completely satisfied, approached us as we stood there in shock. "Evan, what is the meaning of this? What's the problem?" he retorted smugly. "It's obvious. It's better for a department head like me to explain than a regular employee like you. Don't you understand that it increases the chances of successful deals?" He showed no remorse whatsoever. Unable to hold back, I finally protested. "But Fabs is my invention. You don't even understand the content of the materials you just read, do you? The employee who understands the product should be the one presenting. You just don't get it, do you?" he replied. "Besides, I got permission from Mr. Carson to present this machine. Are you going to go against his decision?" Seeing the smug look on his face, I realized that arguing further was pointless. He must have been waiting for an opportunity to embarrass me for a long time. When I reacted to him destroying the prototype, he probably figured out that Fabs was the most important thing to me. He had undoubtedly arranged everything in advance with Mr. Carson to take Fabs away from me. Being told it was the CEO's decision, there was nothing more a regular employee like me could do. As I stood there swallowing my frustration, Evan patted me on the shoulder and walked away with a gleeful look. "Well, since there's nothing more to discuss, I'll take my leave. I have to handle the inquiries and orders for that machine." As expected, Fabs was welcomed with open arms by the industry. Evan has stolen my product and, as a result, gained significant recognition and fame. Seeing Evan and Mr. Carson reveling in their success, I finally made up my mind. The most shocking news came the day after the exhibition. Remembering the humiliating events of the previous day, I went to work as usual. However, my desk was completely empty. All the research I had accumulated over the years and the meticulously gathered documents were gone. "What is going on here?" I asked, bewildered. "I don't know. I have no idea. When I came this morning, it was already like this," Emily replied. I asked my other colleagues, but everyone just shook their heads, clueless. After searching the department, we found that everything from my desk had been stuffed into garbage bags and left in a storage room. "Who would do something like this?" Emily muttered in shock. Everyone thought of the same person at that moment. "Mark, what are you doing over there?" Evan appeared, grinning smugly. Clearly in high spirits, he glanced at me holding the garbage bags and snorted derisively. "Rummaging through trash early in the morning? You've really hit rock bottom, haven't you?" My belongings were thrown away. "Do you know anything about it, Avon?" "Oh, that. It was all unnecessary, so I took care of it last night." "You should be thanking me." "What?" He casually admitted it was his doing, leaving me speechless. As I struggled to find a response, he smiled and dropped a bombshell. Congratulations, Mark. You've been selected for work reduction. We're hiring a top-tier new graduate starting tomorrow, so you're fired. I was stunned by the sudden announcement. The new hire is Mr. Carson's son. He's a young, college-educated employee, totally different from an eternal regular employee like you. The machine you made, fabs or whatever, is finished, right? That means you're no longer needed by the company. The new hire will use your desk starting tomorrow, so clear it out and leave today. In other words, you're fired. I've worked diligently for 20 years, and now you're telling me to leave by the end of today. Evan's grin widened even more. That's what I've been saying. A regular employee can't even understand when they're being fired. Listen, Mark, you're fired. It's unfortunate, but that's reality. You should regret the foolishness of opposing me. That's good, I said firmly. Evan was taken aback and stopped talking. What did you just say? I said that's good, Evan. Can't you understand my response? This company may be what it is now, but I've been here for 20 years. I was hesitant to submit my resignation, but since you fired me for the company's convenience, it's a different story. Now I can leave this company proudly hearing my words. Evan stood there dumbfounded for a moment, but soon he shook his head, regaining his composure. That nasty smug grin returned to his face. Is this the howl of the loser? No matter how much you pretend to be tough, you're still fired. Pack your things and leave. I will. And by the way, I'll be taking all the unpaid vacation days I've accrued. For a lowly employee, you sure know how to use your head. Take as many days off as you want. With that, he laughed loudly and walked away. I gathered my necessary belongings and left the company. After 20 years of commuting every day, rain or shine, it ended rather abruptly. Thinking about this, I slept in late the next day, forgetting all my past fatigue. But when I woke up and saw my phone screen by my pillow, I blinked in surprise. What is with all these missed calls? There were dozens of missed calls from the workplace I had just left. They must have been calling nonstop since the start of the workday. As I sighed at the long list of missed calls, another call came in. I was tempted to ignore it, but the constant ringing was draining the battery, and it was annoying. I realized that if the calls continued like this, I wouldn't be able to use my phone properly. So reluctantly, I decided to answer. Hello, this is Mark. Finally, how long were you going to keep me waiting? The workplace is in chaos. Get here immediately. The person yelling was, of course, Evan. Without waiting for my response, he started babbling about the situation. According to him, when he arrived at work this morning, there were no employees present. When no one showed up at the start of the workday, he began calling each employee only to find out that everyone had resigned. Shocked, he visited the CEO's office, but found only a pale-faced Mr. Carson with his secretary nowhere to be found. After you left yesterday, all the employees came to submit their resignations. They all said they would leave in a month and use the remaining vacation days during that month. I thought it was a joke and ignored it, but no one showed up today. I only fired Mark. Why did the other employees resign too? Evan was at a loss, and Mr. Carson had no answers either. Gradually, Evan's face turned red with panic. This means there's no one to do the handover. The company is in serious trouble. I told them the same thing, but they insisted it was according to the rules, and no one would come back. Did they really have that many vacation days left? Taking a month's worth of vacation is incredibly unprofessional. His rant continued, and then he started berating me over the phone. You mentioned taking your vacation days yesterday, right? This company's employees have no sense. Taking vacation days when you're fired and for a whole month, no less. This is fraud. There's nothing unusual about it. I was completely exasperated and explained the vacation policy to him. In this company, employees earn 20 days of paid leave each year. Additionally, for this particular year, they can carry over unused days to the next year. Thus, employees could accumulate up to 40 days of paid leave if they choose to. Ever since you came, you've been denying our vacation requests for various reasons, so everyone carried over their unused vacation days. This is just karma for what you've done to us. No way. His weak voice was clear even over the phone, but then he snapped back to reality and raised his voice again. All right, I'll give up on the other employees, but you must convince Emily, who worked with you, to stay. What? Why just her? She knows all the ins and outs of your complicated work. After firing you, I plan to have her take over your tasks, but now she's left too. My plan is ruined. That's unfortunate. I suppressed the urge to laugh. Actually, after leaving the company yesterday, I met up with Emily. I submitted my resignation to Mr. Carson as well, she said, smiling brightly as she followed me out. Are you sure about this? Absolutely. A company that makes such poor decisions isn't worth staying at. When I told him I was resigning, he mocked me saying they wouldn't miss one or two employees like me. She started laughing heartily. Mr. Carson and Evan are going to be in for a shock tomorrow. It's not just one or two employees. The entire staff is quitting. I wish I could see Evan's face when he finds out. Yes, this mass resignation was our plan all along. Everyone had been fed up with Evan's antics and Mr. Carson's failure to stop him. We had been planning to leave the company, and the incident with Evan hijacking my presentation at the exhibition was the final straw. After that, Emily and I joined our other resigned colleagues and celebrated with some delicious drinks. As I recalled the events of yesterday, I heard Evan's weak voice on the phone. If it comes to this, even you will do. Come to the office immediately. The phones have been ringing non-stop with inquiries, and we can't keep up. I was fired by you, Evan. I can't come to your company. I clearly refused and ended the call. As I hung up, I could still hear his pleading voice, but I had no more ties to that company. Evan continued to call me intermittently. However, I never answered, and the calls gradually decreased, eventually stopping completely. After a week, he must have been too busy dealing with the company to keep calling me. I enjoyed my newfound peaceful life for a while. Later, I heard that the company went through a tough time. Even when they received inquiries, only Evan and Mr. Carson were there to handle them, which led to many misunderstandings. Eventually, a defect was found in the fabs presented at the exhibition, and the company received numerous complaints. Without me, who had developed it, Evan was at a loss. He couldn't answer questions about repair schedules or future prospects, angering the clients. Meanwhile, I continued to walk my usual commute route as I passed my former company. Evan spotted me and rushed over, sweating profusely. "You're finally here. I knew you would come, Mark. Now fix that fabs machine. The clients are furious." Half crying, he clung to me, but I shook off his hand nonchalantly. "You must be mistaken. I was fired from Carson Manufacturing. Then why are you here?" "I'm on my way to my new company. From now on, I'll be working at Davis Engineering, my new startup." Evan was stunned. His eyes widened, and he turned pale, collapsing to the ground. He tried to say something, but I ignored him and headed to my new office across from Carson Manufacturing. I had always wanted to have my own company, a place where I could freely create machines. A dream come true and with like-minded colleagues. I wanted to create products that could compete globally. As I shared my vision, my co-workers supported my plan. What started as a dream became more serious as Evan worsened the work environment. We gradually prepared for the startup. I had intended to stay at Carson Manufacturing until the launch of fabs out of loyalty, but the betrayal at the exhibition by Evan and Mr. Carson sealed my decision to leave. In my new office, I looked out the shiny windows. Inside, the data, even presented at the exhibition, included bugs from before the revisions. I had the correct data and fixed parts ready for the real presentation. If he had apologized, I might have given him the revised data, but that's impossible now. I turned to see Emily standing there with a cup of coffee behind me. My former colleagues were smiling warmly. Everyone who had submitted their resignations had joined my new company. I looked around at the familiar faces, all reliable friends. "Let's work together and give it our all. I look forward to working with you." Encouraged by my words, my colleagues responded with bright, beaming smiles. After that, we worked together to develop the improved version of Faves. We addressed the previous issues and launched the final product online. The response was overwhelmingly positive. Seeing this, Evan reportedly collapsed to the floor in despair, saying, "This is the end for our company." Just as he predicted, the old company stopped receiving new orders. Everyone preferred the improved version from my new company. Nobody wanted to buy the problematic old product. Evan only received repair requests, but he couldn't handle them and was soon swamped with refund demands. Shortly after, the company went bankrupt. The elite newcomer, Mr. Carson's son, had long since fled and was working in an unrelated company. Meanwhile, Mr. Carson and Evan ended up with massive debts and eventually filed for bankruptcy. After that, they tried to find new jobs, but Evan, having never worked properly, was not hired anywhere for long. The other day, Emily confided in me with a serious expression. "Actually, the other day, I saw a soup kitchen in a park in the neighboring city for people in need. Among them, I think I saw someone who looked a lot like Mr. Carson and Evan. If it really was them, their fate is tragic, but it's certain that they are reaping the consequences of their actions." Since then, my company has been steadily growing. We've been continuously improving, incorporating customer feedback to make the machine more versatile with interchangeable attachments. I intend to keep cherishing the feelings of my employees and our gratitude towards our customers. My relationship with Emily has also blossomed. I'll always stay by your side. I want to watch the company grow alongside you. It's been a year since she confessed her feelings, and we started dating. Next month, we're getting married. I want to continue building a vibrant workplace with Emily who understands me better than anyone else. Hand in hand with her, I step into a new future with all my might. I will continue working tirelessly today and every day.